Welcome everyone to First Wednesdays with Master Coach Gretchen Heido. As a reminder, this video is going to be uploaded on YouTube, but also is live streaming in the Facebook Coaching for Coaches group. For anybody currently in the group, if you want to join us, there would be a link if you want to join us live. Otherwise, you're welcome to watch in the group. Today, we're going to be talking about the flow of a coaching session. So with that, I will pass it off to Gretchen.
Yeah. So, hey, everyone. So good to see all of you. Diana, hi. We didn't get to say hi to you yet. So tonight we're going to talk about the flow of a coaching session. I get a lot of questions from coaches about what you should say, when you should say it, and how do you know if it's an effective coaching session. And being a mentor coach through the ICF and an assessor, one of the things that I like to do is really help coaches to be able to hit the different ICF core competencies that are expected of you at the different levels. And so tonight, what we're going to do, I'm going to go through the flow of a coaching session with you. I'll probably do some spot coaching just to show it to you, and then I'll open it up for questions. But make sure that you have, this is me saying pen, make sure that you have a pen or something to take notes with. You can type as well. But these are some of the key questions that you are going to want to be asking during your flow of a coaching session. So when we're starting with our coaching session, every coaching school teaches it a little bit differently. There's no right or wrong because you were all taught how to get in there and do the very basics of what needs to happen for your frame. But I came up with an acronym called WOW with 2 W's at the end of it to help you to quickly be able to think about the framework that you need when you are going to be coaching with your clients. So the first W is, what is the topic or theme? And what that question sounds like is, what would you like to be coached on today? And Christy, are you able to put some things in the chat as I do this just to make it easy for people as well? Thank you. So what would you like to be coached on today? Your client is going to come to you and they're going to tell you what they'd like to be coached on. Sometimes you might hear several topics. Has that ever happened to anyone that you ask the question, what would you like to be coached on? And they're talking about this, they're talking about that, and then they're talking about something else. Anyone ever have that? Yeah. I had that today with a client who we were coaching, and he started with one thing that he wanted to be coached on, but 3 or 4 others came up. And what I did was I made sure, and this is what you're going to want to do, you make sure to serve all of the topics back to them on a plate. That's what I like to call it, serve the topics back. So if the client says, I want to work on my coaching business, and what I'm feeling is a lack of confidence. I don't have any packages created. I don't know what to charge. And I feel like coaching is a bit of snake oil salesman lifestyle. There's a lot that a person will have heard there. And so what you'd say is something like, I hear that you want to work on coaching and that you're having these other feelings too. There's an issue here about confidence. There's something here about professional self. And then there's the know-how. Do I have it right? And before you go to the next part, you want to ask the person this next question. And this is the O, other information, the tell me more that you just did, the tell me more about that. You get the background information. But then you want to find out in this amount of time. So let's say it's a 30-minute session. In this 30-minute session, what's your top focus for today? That's where they're going to pick one of those topics. Okay, so they might say, at the bottom of all of this, it's really about confidence. Great. Tell me more about confidence. And that's the O, other information. What do you need to know about this? So we've done the first W, which is what's the topic or theme? What would you like coaching on today? We're listening for several issues that might possibly come up. We're giving it back to them on the platter with our reflective listening and with our powerful questions. And then we're asking them to tell you more. Then you want to firm it up to make sure that you know what the topic actually is. And then you need to get to the next W, which is the what do they want to achieve or walk away with in regard to the topic during the session. And what that might be is it might be that they want to plan. They might want to change their feeling. They might want clarity. They might want to make a decision, but it's something that they can create within the session. So what we're not looking for is what are they going to do outside of session or after your session. That comes later. What we're looking for in the beginning is simply this part about, okay, so in regards to confidence, we have about 30 minutes today. What would you like to achieve in regards to confidence during this 30 minutes? Okay, everyone following me? Just nodding, thumbs up, anything? Okay, perfect. Your next W that you want to make sure that you have is the way that they are going to know that they have that. So this is what we're looking for. How will you know that you have achieved that? So it's a form of measurement in a sense. And so as we're thinking about that, the how will you know that you've achieved that? They might say, well, I want 3 steps. They may tell you that they want to make sure that they've made a decision. They might want a mantra, whatever it is, you will know that that's how they are going to know that they achieve it. And your bonus W here is what will it mean for you to have that? And what that does is it begins to help the client to really open up for your topic, for what you're coaching on. And when we're thinking about this, where you want to be coaching is on the railroad tracks. I talk about this a lot, that on one side we have the topic, on the other side we have the outcome and measurement of what they're wanting. And what you're doing is coaching in the middle. So you're coaching to help them get the outcome or measurement that they're hoping for around that topic. So your questions become easier because you are always going to frame them up based on that. Let me demo this top part with somebody, and then you can ask your questions. I'm not going to do coaching. I'm just going to kind of warm you all up for what this is so that you can see it. And what I'd love for you to do is to write down, what did you hear as the topic? What did you hear that they wanted to achieve? And how did you hear that they were going to measure it? And bonus, what will it mean for them to have it? Let me get a drink. Okay, who can I demo this with? All right, Diana, thank you. All right, so coaches, we're going to keep some sacred space. She and I are just doing this top part. Like I said, we are not going to necessarily be coaching. I'm just going to set up the frame with her so that you can see what that looks like. Diana, thank you for raising your hand. I appreciate it. So, what would you like to be coached on tonight?
I'd like to be coached on the next step in my business. I don't know if I should be trying to get clients, if I should be developing myself as a better coach. I don't know if I should be getting another credential. I just want to be a better coach and build my business.
Okay, so I'm hearing that you're really wanting to know what you should do for this next step of your business. There's a lot of possibilities on the table, and you want to make sure that you're the best coach possible.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
want to, yes, and I want to have clients, lots of clients.
You want to have clients. Okay, so then are we coaching on next steps of your business, or are we coaching on how to get clients?
How to get clients.
All right, how to get clients. Oh, look at how your body language changed there too. You were like, how to get clients, leaned in and everything. Okay, so how to get clients. We have about 20 minutes today. In regard to getting clients, what do you want to achieve during our session?
What's a process for if how to reach, how to make how to make initial contacts to people that I have a reference of, not cold calling,
Okay,
but what's
yeah, what's the process for outreach for these people that you already know? That's what you'd
Yeah.
like to accomplish during our session.
Mhm.
What will be the indicator that you have created that during this session? What are you looking for?
A formula?
Formula. Okay, so we're creating a formula today. And what will it mean for you to have that formula?
It would mean that I would really feel like I'm in the business of kind of getting clients, and I'll stop spinning. I've been spinning. So I'll have time to engage with customers
It
and
sounds
clients.
like it sounds like clarity too.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay, so just so that I can make sure that we're on the same page, you really want to coach today around getting clients. You want to make sure that you have some kind of a process in how do you do this with
Mhm.
people that you already know. And what we're looking to create is a formula. And what
Mhm.
it's going to mean to you is some clarity, less spinning, and really then you can get into this part of business building.
Yes.
Did I get it right?
Yes, because one of the things that I mean, the next step in my business and getting clients are kind of competing with each other.
Yeah, that's what I can hear. Okay, just for this demo, we're going to stop right there. I'm going to put a little bow on it. How was that for you to get so micro in what we were going to be coaching on today?
Clarity. You mentioned the word clarity, and it didn't have, there wasn't a whole lot of room for like the tangents and the and this and this and this and this and this.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Okay, so I'm going to open it up to the rest of the group. Thank you for being my demo. I appreciate it. So coaches, what did you notice in this process, in the setup? Michael.
Once you ask the question, when you got very specific about was it a general idea about her business she wanted or getting clients? And once you pinpointed and she pinpointed that, then the conversation started to open up and her mind started going, okay, this is what I want to do to get clients.
Good. So it started to take shape. We started to get some parameters around it. Yeah, nice noticing. What else did you notice, coaches, in this beginning setup? Mark.
She had a bunch of stuff. She had a list. And back to what Michael said, you turn the question around and what's the most important? Bing, light went on, and you just dove into that.
Yeah, that's it. And so when you think of it that way, what we did is we took something that was broad. The first thing she said was that she wanted to do next steps in her business. And I heard a lot of the things she was thinking about. But what you saw me do was drill it down. I had the client choose. I'm hearing this and I'm hearing this. What are we really coaching on? Next steps of your business or client creation? What happened to her body language when she chose?
She got excited. She started smiling, and it was very clear to her. And I also think what was interesting about that is it's similar to what they say. If you have to have a difficult conversation with someone, the important thing is always the last thing that's said.
There you go. I like that. You know, and with this, what happens is we're getting the confirmation from the client. Now, it wouldn't have been wrong for me to coach around next steps. It is what she said she wanted. But as you elevate your coaching skills and as you're trying to get to PCC and MCC, they're really looking for the deeper listening on their ICF core competencies. They want to make sure that you have an agreed upon agreement. This is the agreement of the coaching session. And so we spend quite a bit of time on it. If you are in a session with someone for, let's say, 45 minutes to an hour, this top part can take 10 minutes because the client thinks they want this and this, you give it back to them. Once you have that initial topic, the next part is the outcome, you know, that piece about what do they want to achieve around this particular topic during our session. And it was interesting because for her, what she said is, well, I want to figure out what I do to connect with people that I already know. What's that process? She could have, if we were just working on business steps, could have been anything, but that's what she wanted around client creation. And so because we got very specific with client creation, I didn't decide what she needed to do, what she wanted to achieve in this session, even though I know a lot about client creation. We give it back to the client. It's like, okay, with your time, what's important today for you to achieve? That's another marker that the ICF is looking for. And then the last part of that becomes, how will you know that you've achieved that? And she said formula. Okay, once you have those things, you have done the first 3 pieces that your ICF assessor is listening for to check off their list to make sure that you are able to hit some of those key ICF core competencies. A bonus for going from ACC to PCC is to get to the source of motivation, and that's your next W, which is, what will it mean to you to have that? Let me pause there. What are you hearing in this, or any light bulbs going off for you?
I wonder about how much of coaching is actually this, because just nailing someone down on what's important to them, what's their priority, how to articulate it, and it really bring to consciousness what's bothering them, seems like this is actually a half the battle, if not
100%.
more.
Yeah, it is, because now you know what you're coaching on. We got the topic over here. We've got the way they're going to measure it over here. We only coach in between, because there's so many shiny things that come up in coaching. Clients say things and you might think, oh, I should coach them on that. No, she said she wants to coach on client creation and a process. So now all of my questions are going to be about her process. What have you already tried for your process? What have you thought of for your process? Where do you feel stuck in your process? What's confusing? When you think about your formula, how many parts do you think your formula might have? And so these all engage what she has told me that she wants. Where I like to go next in the coaching session, after I've asked the client, what will it mean to you to have this, is, where would you like to start? What's our entry point today? Because just like she was able to narrow it down when it came to which part of her coaching business she wanted to talk about, she will also know which part of client creation and this formula that she wants to talk about. So again, this is PCC and MCC level. You don't have to do that. You can just ask your own question that you think of, but why not ask the client, what's our point of entry? Jill, go ahead.
I also think, when things get hard, this is where you need to go back to, because this is your motivation. So, you bring it back. Why am I doing this? Oh, I need money for the car. I need, so it brings it home, because you can get really discouraged, and it's a way to kind of get back to the core, why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah, that's it. And it's a good touchstone for them, and it helps you to remember too, oh, this is what it's going to mean for the client. So it's 2 things where it helps both you and the client to stay on track. Now, for many oh, go ahead, Diana. Were you raising your hand?
So that what will it mean for you to have that? Is that the part that's connected to their motivation?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the motivation question, because then they're going to tell you, you said clarity. You could have also said income. You could have said freedom. You could have said, there's so many things that you can say, and so that the coach isn't guessing, oh, this is what it should mean. We ask. And that way, then when we're coaching you, when we're coaching our client, we can really help them get to their own deep source of motivation.
Got it.
Yeah. Michael.
Just to piggyback on that point of what will that mean to you, that is, to me, one of the most important aspects of coaching, because that leads into, and to Diana, in her case specifically, that leads into what their big picture vision is of their creating a business and their life. So it actually is something that should be underscored before, during, and after the session, and really throughout your coaching engagement.
Yes, that longer coaching engagement. And so all of your coaching sessions will be in support of your client's biggest vision and biggest goals. Thank you for your feedback there. So what you're going to do next, you want to ask the client, what's your entry point? Where should we start this conversation? And then you coach. You ask questions to help them get to that outcome and to help them get to that measurement that they're wanting, the way they know they're going to achieve it. Make sure that you are doing a lot of reflective listening, hearing what the client's saying, noticing their body language, noticing where there might be a shutdown moment. And more importantly, notice what they're not saying. Notice their potential fears, notice the biases, notice the stories, because those are equally as important to bring into the space. And then about midway through your session, so let's say that it's a 55-minute session, about 35 minutes or so in, you want to say, and we're looking for this on the ICF markers, we're about halfway through. You said you wanted, and you restate it. You said you wanted to work on your client creation and that you were hoping to come up with a process to reaching out to people that you know so that you weren't cold calling. What you wanted to create was a formula, and you said that that would bring you clarity. Are you getting what you need? The reason we do this is we are checking in with our client. We're seeing if the agreement has changed. And we're asking them, are they getting what they need? If not, now is a good time for them to get back on track, you or them, depending on where it's gone. So a client might say, yes, I'm getting what I need, or no, not quite. Either way, your next question is, what's still missing? What's still missing? And that's where the client gets to tell you, well, what's still missing is I don't have the formula, or what's still missing is I'm really feeling nervous about reaching out to these people that I know. I mean, what if they laugh at me? What if they know me as this thing? What if they think this is ridiculous? What if you never know what's still missing? Or they might say, nothing is missing. And if it's a nothing is missing, then you say, okay, where do you want to continue the conversation? What feels important next? Or you just keep going with the questions to help them get to that desired outcome, which for her was the formula. That, all right, so we have two parts of the formula right now. How are you feeling about the formula? What are you seeing here? And so those are the things that we do. And then we continue coaching. So the what's still missing and your check-in are not where you start wrapping up the session. There are usually 15 to 20 minutes left in your session when you do this. Now, for some coaches, this is the part where they feel a little bit nervous because they're like, well, why would I be asking that? What if they do say something's still missing? Does it mean I'm a bad coach? No, it means you're an excellent coach because you slowed down enough to ask what's still missing. And the ICF is looking for it. So it's part of that agreement with your client that you are both going to stay on track. Let me pause there. Any questions that you're having here? Anything that you're wondering? Yeah, go ahead, Diana.
So suppose at that midway point, I said, well, gee, Gretchen, I've participated in several First Wednesdays. I'm about to take the Stairway to Six. I think that this formula, and I think that the connection with clients, I think I kind of have that. I think I really do want to talk more about the next step in my business. If that happens at that point, do you have time to get into that and to have a
Sure.
coaching session?
Great question. So what you'd say is, oh, okay, so I'm hearing that you want to change focus. So let's just redo our agreement here then. So you're wanting to talk about the next steps of your business, and then you go back into that additional information. What do they want to accomplish with the time that you have left around that, and how will they know that they've achieved it? So anytime if it does change, you just need to create a new agreement, and that's not a problem. Great, great question.
Gretchen,
Yeah.
so clarify sort of at that midpoint, how do you test the waters, or what's your best practice for testing the waters when you want to kind of make that clarification question? Are you getting what you need? Is there a specific cue?
So it really is at about halfway. There's some kind of a pause, and you
Yeah.
say, hey, we're not halfway through our session. I just want to check back to make sure that you're getting what you need. You said you wanted, and that's why it's important to write that first part down. You wanted this for your topic. You wanted this for your outcome. You wanted this for your measurement. Are you getting what you need? Are you on track? And that's where they get to say yes or no, because there's still time in the session to be able to pivot if needed. And it usually lends itself to deeper learning for the client because they're like, yes, or not so much, but then what's still missing, they're thinking, oh, well, actually, this is what's still missing. That's what's still missing.
Are there times when they, and this has happened to me before, and I'm just kind of repeating in my head, situations where people say, I don't know what's missing. And I'll say, what is it that you don't know? Or, go deeper into it or what have you. But I don't know if there's another.
Sure. Another way to say it. So maybe a client says, I don't know what's still missing. Then you might say, okay, well, let's just keep going then. Tell me more about this formula. And you keep going with the coaching session. So you don't have to belabor it, but you do need to make sure that the assessor can hear that you asked the question. Yeah. Then you keep coaching, and you're going to coach to that outcome and measurement that they wanted. About 5 minutes or so before the end of the session, you will notice that the client has had some relief. There's something that has happened. They've had their aha moment, and it's time to start wrapping it up. What you want to do there, because again, these are things that are on the checkoff list. And when I'm mentoring coaches for their ACC, PCC, or MCC hours, I actually give them a checkoff list of the different questions that I want them to ask. What you want to say is, okay, so Diana, what did you get from our session today? And she's going to tell me, well, here's what I learned. Here's what happened for me. And it's like, great. So between now and our next session, what would you like to commit to? And this is the action piece. Okay, this is where she says, well, I want to commit to writing the letter, the reach out letter, so that I have something that's there. I want to commit to creating an outline. I want to commit to making a list of 10 of these people that I think I might reach out to. Whatever it is, but you get the firm commitment. You then want to check, is there anything that might get in the way of you keeping that commitment? Because people are busy, they have a lot of stuff on their plate. Are they going too big or not? And then they'll tell you, and if it's too big, you let them renegotiate it. And then you want to thank them, hey, you really did great work today. And that's it, so you make sure that they've told you what they're taking away. They tell you what they've learned. They tell you what they're committing to. You acknowledge them, you thank them, and you end the session. Newer coaches will say, today you said you wanted this, this, and then this happened, and then that happened. And it's like this whole replay. They know what happened. They were there, like they were in the session with you. It happened to them. It's much more powerful and effective to let the client tell you what they learned. And if you have something to add to it, you can say, yeah. And then there was that moment where this happened. So that's the flow of a coaching session with the ICF markers in it that your assessor is going to be looking for. Questions or comments for any of you? Anything that you're wondering about?
Still thinking about that second W and how it ties to motivation. And I'm caught on this idea that a lot of times people, when they look at the difficulty of wanting to change, they don't compare it to the status quo. And I feel like that second W helps, unconsciously highlight that okay, you want to do this for this X reason, and that is very different from the status quo we're going through now.
Good. That's it. So I'm going to show you guys the flow of a coaching session. I'll have about 20 minutes to coach with someone. That way you guys can see it, maybe 15, 20, 17 minutes, something like that. And then you can ask some questions, ask about my choices, how was that, all of that. But that way you can see the flow of a coaching session. So who can I coach? Who would this be helpful to for me to actually coach you tonight, and then everyone else can watch? Christy, I wonder if I can coach you so that they can watch. Thanks for playing.
Of course, I was gonna be like, you can coach me.
Yeah, I mean, like, thanks for playing. So let's do this. That way they can watch. And coaches, write down what you're hearing as their topic, as her topic, outcome, measurement, and what's the second wow for her, you know, that real motivator. All right. So Christy, what would you like to be coached on today?
That is a mighty good question. I'm trying to make a decision about this conference that I'm going to later this year, and I haven't fully decided if I want to upgrade to a VIP type of level where I would have the opportunity to speak on stage. So I'm kind of like going back and forth on that.
So is it VIP versus general?
Yes, I'm already general. I bought the early bird tickets. I'm already in there, but I have the opportunity to potentially upgrade to VIP.
Say more.
So it's actually the conference that I was supposed to go last year, but unfortunately, my partner Jason's mother passed away, so I stayed home instead and I didn't go. And I did have a slot to speak on stage. I just had to forego the slot. So when I signed up for the early bird, I was like thinking like, should I talk? And I kind of went back and forth because I don't know. I think it's a little bit like, what if something else happens and then I have to like not go again?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What would you be speaking on?
So I'd be speaking on thriving as a chronic illness entrepreneur, like how I, got diagnosed with the illness that made me essentially disabled, and how I'm still having a thriving business, and how because that's been something that I've been talking about quite a bit lately, of like, even though you have chronic illnesses, you can still have a very successful business. You just have all the accommodations that you need for yourself. So it's funny because I also went with a speaking coach, and I already have my speaking plan and everything done. I just didn't go.
Hey, so how interesting is this that you really worked on this topic? And I know that from the past as well, you worked with the speaking coach, and now you're really grappling with this decision of, do I do VIP or not? Because there's that underlying, we can call it worry or fear of, what if something happens again?
Yeah.
Okay. So with the time that we have today, what do you want to achieve around this decision in the next 15 minutes or so?
I think aside from the what if something happened, and of course the whole fearful of stage, which I'm trying to get over, that was my method of trying to do it, just do it, is the financial aspect. So I think some more clarity around my finances is probably what I need to make that decision, which is funny because I coach people on that often. It's always different with ourselves.
That's what I was going to say is, yeah. And so when it's not the coaching hat that's on and it's you, it's a different thing. So we have the fear of what if something happens, and then some clarity around the finances. And if you had some answers to those two things, that's what you'd like to achieve in our session.
Yes, that would be
Okay.
great.
How will you know you have that today?
I think it would be pretty clear cut if I make a decision, regardless what decision is, like if I just make the decision of yes or no.
Okay. Okay. So we're looking for that decision. And what will it actually mean to you for you to have that decision?
It would be taken off my mind so I can work on other things. So more brain space for sure.
Taking off your mind, more brain space. So just to make sure that I have it right, we're really coaching around, should you do this VIP or not, and get to speak, especially about chronic illness, which I know is really dear to your heart. We're going to coach around the fear and the financial piece. And then you want to make a clear yes or no decision regardless, because it will clear up some of that mind space.
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Where do you want to start? Fear or finances?
Probably finances. I feel like finances might be a little bit more clear cut than the fear, because that's a whole different thing.
Okay, so tell me about the finances.
So the difference in pricing would be another additional, I think, 2,500, somewhere around there, 2 to 2,500. And I would also probably want to be there an extra day, so my nerves are settled and I'm not like in travel mode. So that's going to end up with more payment with like food and hotel. So I'm probably looking at potentially an extra $3,000.
Okay. Okay. So an extra 3K. What does it mean to you to invest and use that 3K for this?
Well, it would mean a lot. One, at the end of it, I know I would be able to be like, hey, I did it. It was scary and probably not fun every step of the way, but I did it. And I was also probably able to connect with a whole bunch of people, not just on stage, because it's 10 minutes. It's not a big slot, but it's still enough to feel like I'm doing something a little bit more active than behind the scenes that I normally do in my business. So I think it would probably infuse a little bit of confidence in me, at least in my speaker side.
Okay, okay. I'm hearing confidence and like affirmation, that real like, ooh, I've arrived, I did it.
Yes, and that's one of my top love languages. So.
Yeah, so there's that. So then what's the downside?
Downside is being slightly probably uncomfortable for at least a month or two for me to figure out my finances. I don't generally like pulling from credit cards or lines of credit, but I do have a big line of credit with my bank, so I could do that. But I do know it's going to feel uncomfortable.
Okay. Does the 3K investment at the end of the day for your confidence and the I've arrived, I did it feeling, is it worth 3K?
Yes, because of the extra things that they add for being a speaker. Like you'll get like B-roll and everything like that. So you get tangible things besides the just feeling of I did it.
Okay. And when you think about that, if that was all you got, was the I did it feeling, you didn't get a client from it, you were uncomfortable, you took the line of credit and all of that, can you live with that 3K investment?
I would probably say yes, because I've made larger investments that I figured out in the past.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question is, and how would you figure out how to cover that 3K?
Yeah. It's been a busy season, so it's more than likely that if I put my head to the ground and just start looking for clients, I probably can get that back relatively quickly.
When we think about your chronic illness though, and with where you are in your life, is now a good time to put your head to the ground?
Yes, because I have good systems.
Okay.
So
Okay.
a lot of what I do to help me show up better in my business is I have a lot of things automated. So if I start conversations, things can continue going without me fully being present.
Okay. And so when you think about this confidence and this I did it feeling, as well as that B-roll and everything else, what else will having those things do for you and do for your business?
I think, or I hope what it was when I signed on for this last year, which is kind of a jumping board, or that's not the word.
Springboard.
Springboard, thank you. A springboard of more opportunities after, because like I said, I'm always behind the scenes in businesses, whether I'm coaching or doing systems or doing something, I'm behind the scenes. So I'm not really out speaking. And I think it would open up the doors to not only more speaking opportunities, not necessarily something I'm targeting, but at the very least, like being a thought leader in my area and whatnot. Funny enough, I have an astrologer I speak with, and she actually recommends that I don't do anything big this year until after my birthday. And it's right after my birthday. It's like the week right after my birthday. So if I do it, I think it's a good time because that would be a good time, astrology speaking, I guess, that I can be more visible without something going like haywire.
What does your inner knowing know about this decision for you on the finances?
Okay, so what I know is funny about me internally is that if I'm thinking about it more than a day, it's because I want to say yes.
Mhm.
If I don't want it, I don't want it. I just don't think about it more than a second. But if I really want it, I'm struggling with it. It's more like my logistical side is fighting with my internal, saying like, yes, go do it. What are you doing?
Mhm. So knowing that if finances weren't an issue, I'm hearing that this is a yes.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah, that's what you just basically said.
yes.
So it is a yes. So how can you make figuring out this money easy?
Um, Probably doing a sprint in my like client attraction.
Mhm.
And honestly, it's for the amount, if I even sign one client, that would probably cover it. If I sign one client on my signature services, I can easily cover it.
And you have 6.5 months until your birthday.
Yes. And if I put it on the line of credit, they split it in payments, which makes it a little bit easier.
Okay, and if you put your head to the ground, like you were saying, how likely is it that even within 60 days, you could have this 3K?
Very likely. 60
Yeah.
days, probably for sure.
Okay, so let's just check in. We wanted to come up with a decision on finances. Did you get your answer?
Finances, yes, I think I did. I think I
All
can
right.
just figure it out.
For this midpoint, because we're about halfway through, you want to decide if you were going to do this VIP with the speaking or not. There was the fear in the finances that we were going to talk about, and you wanted to take a clear action regardless. So we have answer one
Mhm.
ready to go is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So for our what's still missing, fear, is that where we're at?
Probably. There's always a worry that I'm gonna have a flare up and I can't travel, or in that extreme case, we had a loss in the family.
Yeah.
And what I think holds me back in the fear area for that is how much that affected me after. Like, I was okay with the decision when I made it that I wasn't going, but the weeks after the event, it was not the best for my mental health. I was very upset that I wasn't able to go, and that I felt like I wasted money, and there was like a whole bunch of things going on.
Yeah. So when you think about that, is it, say more about the actual part that you're afraid of?
Um, it's kind of like I'm afraid of letting myself down.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I think that's what I felt before, that I let myself down, even though it was something out of my control.
Right, right. How do you soothe yourself?
That's a good question. Depends on what I need. Sometimes I'll do, like, I love having my low stim days where I'm in a dark room for the most of the day and just kind of chilling. Letting my nervous system like regulate and everything without so much external stimuli. That's one way. And then video games. I love video games.
Okay, so with the flare up, that you're concerned with having, or an outside circumstance, which none of us ever want, but life is life.
Mhm.
What would be the way to soothe yourself so that you didn't have this narrative going on in your head, oh, I wasted money?
That's actually what probably I don't know, and that's probably why I struggled so much the weeks after, because I didn't know how to settle myself. Time went by and it just like other things happened, so like that kind of just pushed aside, but I don't think I ever settled it.
But looking back now, what could you offer to who you were then on
Um,
how to settle yourself?
Um, I guess just like the reminder that, yeah, I mean, it was in your control. I still could have gone, but I I valued more staying with Jason.
Yeah.
Like, even though it was not a fun decision, I made it out of a value that I had. So I
Mhm.
was being true to myself. It was just an unfortunate circumstance.
Is one of the things here not maybe it's a fear, but is it really more the part about not having a choice, feeling like you don't have a choice?
Which honestly stems a lot from chronic illness, because I feel like it takes away a lot of my choices.
That's what I'm gathering here is that yes, fear, but more like having the choice taken from you, and that makes us feel helpless and powerless and all of these different things. And is that the feeling that you're wanting to avoid? And so if you don't sign up for VIP, then there's no choice that's taken away in
Right,
your mind.
right.
If you don't sign up for VIP on the same token, is that a choice being taken away on the other side?
Yeah, I feel like if I don't sign up, I'm actually taking away the choice to do the thing, and to kind of reclaim what I missed last time. Um, so I think, yeah, actually that's a good point. It's like I'm offering myself this choice again so I can feel more in control of the choice that I lost from the last time.
Yeah, and let's say the worst case scenario happens and there's a flare up. Nobody dies in this situation like last time, but it's a flare up. Think about ways now, how can you be prepared for that mentally so that it's not weeks and weeks afterwards of the disappointment of not being able to?
So the good thing about this specific opportunity is that the one who runs the event also has a chronic illness, and I've been with retreats on retreats on with her. Whatever I was trying to say there. So I think if I have a flare up and I'm already there, there's going to be accommodations for there. Like maybe I don't have to stand up. Maybe I could sit down, and have my speaking opportunity still, because she wants to make sure that it's very accessible to anybody who wants to come. So I think if that's already in place and I'm already there, then that problem is most likely taken care of. Something that I was also planning last year when I was going to go is, so one thing that makes me feel better is like saline, liquid IV or an IV. I actually found a mobile IV in the area in case I needed to do that. So like I preemptively did a whole bunch of research in the event that I do have a flare up, because I know there's certain things even with the flare up that I can control. And I try to control what I do.
Okay. And so those are good ways to take care of yourself in the moment. Let's say that you can't go and you're faced with that feeling again. What can you preemptively give to yourself so that you do not have such a big crash like last time?
Probably more seeking out either a coach that I have at the time or even just my community of like business friends to actually like lean on them more and actually talk about it more, because I feel like I actually just didn't talk about it to anybody. And I think that was part of it. I wasn't processing it.
And that part too of just being able to say to yourself, it's okay to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really honoring the feeling that's there. That's like, yeah, Christy, it's okay to be disappointed. This is disappointing.
Yeah.
That's a normal feeling for this. It's okay to be angry. That's a normal feeling, and validating yourself instead of the shutdown or the why do I feel this way? That it's like, of course I feel this way.
Yeah. It was a big thing that I wasn't able to do. It's completely valid that I felt all of that in the midst of having to, because at that time, as you know, I was also moving into a new house. So there's a lot of things happening. But this year I don't expect anything big to happen, obviously. And even if I do pay and it doesn't work out, then it, sometimes that's just how life is, I guess. And just making sure that I'm okay afterwards.
Well, and you will have already made the money back.
Yeah.
You will
Which
have
I
already
did
made the
last time pretty quickly too.
So that part, and just because of time, I know that there's more here that we can get into. There's a lot more, but how are you feeling? Where are you at now with your decision of yes or no for VIP?
I think I'm gonna go for it.
Think or will?
It's a yes.
Yeah. Okay.
When I get off this call, I will, because apparently they need to give me a code or something because I already have a ticket. I will email and ask for the code.
Okay, fantastic. What did you learn about yourself today?
I relearned that most likely the reason I, had a little spun out is because I wasn't validating my feelings and I was just kind of like living through them. And that even with something that's seemingly a high investment for me right now, I've spent more in the past and I figured it out much faster in the past before. So I do know I have those skills. It's just overthinking. That is always fun.
One of the things that I heard throughout all this, though, is that you have everything it takes to take care of yourself, regardless of the situation.
Yes. I
That was
actually have a bracelet that says that, I think. I have everything I need or
There
something
you
like
go.
that. I have a bracelet that says that.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, so we're gonna end it there. Thank you. I'm gonna put a bow on that.
Thank you.
All right, so coaches, what did you notice in this? There was a quick session, about 20 minutes. What did you notice? Mark?
Christy got a lot done.
Yeah.
She made great progress and was able to make some very consequential decisions.
What else did you guys notice?
I thought it was interesting that her takeaway was one of the very last insights that she got in this process.
Yeah. What else?
I think you helped Christy get to her yes really pretty quickly, which was, and I noticed her body language and her affirmation of wanting to make the investment. She's like, she said, yeah, I want it. And once that happened, it began to sort of, in a good way, roll downhill, meaning she was clear that it was a yes. And some of the fears that came up, she acknowledged were legit, but that also helped break her free of holding herself back, which I think helped get her to the action item, which was, and you didn't even ask her, what is she committed to doing, when she said that she was gonna, that it was a yes. And she said, yeah, after this call, I'm gonna
Get the code.
sign up, pull the
Yeah.
trigger.
Yeah. Yeah. Jill.
You know, I think when you asked, I forget what the exact question was, but she said, you know, I know if I'm thinking too much about it, it means that I'm struggling with it, that it means that it's a yes. So she actually was on that verge. It's just she needed to kind of hear it and have you reflect it. And then there was a lot of clarity that started coming through that afterwards.
So that's the power of coaching. And when we have an effective coaching frame, you're able to stay on topic. Now, let's say that I didn't have wow down at the beginning. This could have gone everywhere. We could have been talking about Jason's situation and how did that really affect her and what were the residual feelings from that? Was this really about the grief? We could have been talking, I mean, there are so many different tangents of where this could have gone. Why doesn't she want to build a speaking career? Maybe she'd be one of the only people in the market talking about it. Who knows? But this is where, as the coach, you need to know what is the agreement that you have with your client? What do they want? And keep bringing it back to that. Even at the midpoint check, we had the one decision made. We still needed to look at the fear. We only had maybe 5-7 minutes left and we needed to go for it. And so when you're really focused, it makes it that nobody is getting off track. And that's really what the ICF is looking for as well. So I hope tonight was helpful for all of you when it comes to your own coaching sessions and the way that you're going to do that with people, because this is the frame that helps your clients really move forward. Okay, so I'm going to do a little plug here. My Stairway to Six program is starting on March 23rd. Some of you are already in it, and I'm so glad that you have signed up and that we are going to do that journey. Some of you have been through it. So, Michael, will you give a little plug to what your experience in Stairway to Six was like?
Yes, I will, and I'd be happy to do that,
Thank
even though
you.
you put me on the spot and I wasn't
I know.
prepared.
That's okay.
What I really like about the program is it provides a really concise framework around building your business. And while Gretchen will really outline different ways to kind of help create those platforms and modules that are going to help you create what needs to happen for your business, you're going to also start diving into your own, as the process goes along. This is what happened with me. All of a sudden, it was like, I really started getting my own ideas about how I wanted to build my business and what I wanted. And it's still paying off. I mean, the conversations that I have, so I have my own clients, I have several of my own clients, and then I'm also working for an organization that specifically helps small and mid and large companies scale. And I find that so many of the conversations that I have with those clients are ideas and processes that I learned in this program. Different, but a lot of similar dialogue and paradigms.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. And part of this, you know, for all the coaches who are watching this on the replay too, is we're going to spend a lot of time on the art of enrollment. What do you say to clients? What is the process for client creation? What do you do with money objections? When you first talk to someone and they say, so what do you do? How do you follow up with that? from Diana, you know, and her wanting this coaching as well. When she said, what are my next steps in business and client creation? It's going to go through that step by step. And this program too gives you a lot of templates. It's going to give you resources. There are a lot of handouts for you to use that are good starters for you for your own business. So if you are interested in this, get a hold of me, or you can apply on the forum. Christy dropped the link. And here's my other ask. If you know coaches who are eager and serious about client creation, please do an intro for me, because I really love filling this program with coaches that have been recommended, that it's like, oh, you got to talk to Gretchen. She can really help you with this. Gretchen, you need to let this person in your program because they're super eager, but they're just stuck with X, Y, and Z. We have a great time every year doing it. Christy and I have done this many years in a row now, and the accelerator part this time is different than what we've done in the past, with it being a 3-day intensive in the middle. So you are, I won't say guaranteed, I want to say guaranteed, you should be able to really effectively learn how to do that art of enrollment. And with that, everyone.
I was gonna just one more plug.
Go. Yeah, I won't interrupt.
Unless, no, I will be sending you a bill for this promotional.
Yes, great.
Of course. No, I mean, really what I think also happens is not only it is the art of enrollment, but the ease in which you start having conversations around what you do in the coaching process without really selling it, even though you are selling it. It's such a great, literally co-creation that takes place between you and either a prospective client, or, you know, the worst outcome is you get to coach people. The best outcome is you do get clients.
So good. And yes, please bill me for that, and I will be
Are you
sure.
happy with that? Are you
I
glad?
really like it. That's going to be a good soundbite. Christy, cut that one up and let's
I'll just call me Christy. I'll set it up for you.
there we go.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Nice meeting you guys.
Really good seeing everyone tonight. Take good care.
Christy,
Bye-bye.
go for it. Bye, guys.
Bye.